The one thing that I have to say about the Mont Marte pens is the ink flow is absolutely fantastic. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet looking for art supplies that'll make your job just a little easier, or to make it so that you enjoy the craft just this much more. And today we are going to go and check out Mont Marte's dual markers. I got these from Michaels. They are very interesting. I love going into stores like Michaels and TJ Maxx and Marshells and all kinds of stores like that, and the World Market and things where you can find a section and they have markers and art supplies and planners and stuff like that. And this one really caught my eye because it's 24 markers for $9.99. So that is an amazing deal. I am very interested in trying these out because we find these Mont Marte markers everywhere in the stores around me. So I'm really eager to see if these are any good and if they are worth it. So come on, let's go check them out. Alright, so as we can see, this comes in a nice little case, little plastic case, right? Nothing too fancy, clear case so you can see the markers. But what really got me about these markers is that it has a brush tip and then a fine liner tip. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna work, how the ink flows and whatnot. But fine liner tip and a brush tip, so very interested in that. Like I said, $9.99, so we should have some really interesting markers and see what happens, because if they are good, then these are going to be a great buy. So, all right, little security. Oh, a lot of security. All right. Man, that's normally, there we go. It's like normally you rip off a little bit and then bam, it opens up. All right, so this is actually, I didn't think it was going to do that. So I'm really excited because look at that. It opens like that. It's got a nice little display for it. All your colors are nice and neat, and they seem super secure in this case, right? You can even hear it. We know we love a snap right here on the channel. So if it's got a nice snap, look at that. I mean, so these are super secure in here, which is nice. So that's cool. As far as the actual brush goes, it's interesting. Is it wider? No. It feels like it's wider. I don't, like it gets wider over here and as it gets thinner back here. I think it does. Yeah, it's kind of in this more triangular shape. It gets a little wider towards the brush tip than it is on the fine liner tip, which is really cool because you know, like, oh, I'm on the fat end. Oh, okay, that's the brush. I'm on the skinny side. That's the fine liner tip. Oh, that's a nice looking brush. It's a very firm brush, but it's a pretty nice brush. See if it's got a snap. It does. It's good. Okay. And try the fine liner. Looks like a typical fine liner pen. Okay, does it snap? It does. Can we post? Okay, that side works. Okay, so you gotta flip it over. But that posts too, so that's nice. These are thinner though, like these are more like fine liner pens than a marker. So they're really thin in your hand. Plastic seems pretty nice, nothing too cheap. Should be interesting. All right, let's see. Oh, all right. Let's see what we got here. So we're definitely gonna try this this orange one first. Now this looks like a very bright orange. So Wow, that is a nice brush. Yeah, all right, you get some fairly decent lines there, but you can also get really, well, no, I thought they do get smaller, but it seems as though even though the brush is pretty firm, that the tip of the brush kind of bends out, so it gives you this nice little medium color, which is cool. So that's good. I mean, but the ink flow comes out just absolutely fantastic. That is a really nice flow from tip to tip, from front to back. The ink comes out, it's really nice. Let's see if we can. Okay. Oh, it's water-based. Okay, so it's water-based, so you got to be careful of that. Will eat up your paper, but so the fine liners, I mean, fine liner is just a great fine liner. The one thing that I have to say about the Mont Marte pens is the ink flow is absolutely fantastic, right? It comes out. The thing you have to worry about though with the fine liner is that if you leave it, right? So if you're not instantly moving, so if you start and leave it there for a second and then stop and leave it there for a second, you will have a glob of ink, right? It's not huge or anything, but as long as you are still moving, you will get no spot where the ink actually pools, which is cool, right? And as you saw, that just kept going. There was no spot where it's like, no, I don't like it. So that was kind of cool. I don't know if the color matches, because that color is really, really bright in comparison to what's coming out of it. It seems as though everything so far, it seems that all the colors are darker than what the cap would suggest. But like I said, they are super vibrant because everything's darker, and the flow of these things are just, see? I mean, you can just, if anything, so if you're looking for something that's for bullet journaling and you need something that you can do a little bit of brush work and have a fine liner that the ink flows really well, these are it. This is fantastic as far as doing stuff like that. I mean, it's water-based, so you can't really use it on a regular piece of paper because it will start destroying your paper. But the brushes, I mean, they're starting to fray a little bit. So this particular one is having some fraying issues, right? So it's not like the ones that we did up here. These ones, they break up towards the bottom here and here. So at the beginning and the end, the brush is actually trying to form its shape. So it's starting to break apart. But it seems like once you actually get it to a point to where it can start flowing, the brush seems fine. But so, I mean, you can have a nice, right? Like it goes quick. And then if you go over it one more time, right, you can get some nice stuff going, but it's not something that you can actually use on regular paper because it will just destroy it's just going to destroy your paper. So it's definitely something for a more mixed media type paper as well as watercolor paper. But I mean, even with this, look at how, right, look at that. Even with the brush, like the ink just keeps going with no issue whatsoever. That's pretty amazing. The colors so far are all darker than what the cap would suggest. So that is something that you'd have to keep in mind, is that it is darker. But I mean, these bad boys are great. Look at that. They're nice. The brush is nice. It's nice and sturdy, so you can get some relatively thin lines, but generally you're getting these medium lines here. But the one thing that you have to constantly say, or that I'm going to constantly say about these markers, is the ink flow on these are insane. Because like I said, from start to finish, that ink it's coming, right? It's there. No gradations, no breaking up, no nothing. Just real nice, clean lines. And the flow just keeps going. Right? That's, wow. And they give you two blacks. Oops. They give you two blacks, which is interesting. It might be a dark blue, but it might as well just be a black. I mean, can't fight that. It's a nice kind of opaque black. Fine liner keeps working. These are absolutely fantastic for bullet journaling, I think. Any type of journaling that you're trying to do, the nibs are pretty cool. The colors are super vibrant. You know, they kind of go over each other. If you get a book that has multimedia paper or watercolor paper, these will work just fine. These are really good for like calligraphy or writing, quick drawings. You know, if you're trying to just, I made a little something, or if you want to use the green to make a stem, and then you use the yellow to make, you know, the middle of it, and you're like, I'm making a flower or something, right? And then it's just real easy, quick, kind of clip art type drawings. These markers are great. Really, really good stuff. They hold nice in your hand. Yeah, these are good. All right, so we just got done reviewing the Mont Marte dual markers, and you know what? These are actually really nice markers. I was really surprised at how firm the brush was, but still gave us enough flexibility to go from a thinner but mostly medium to thicker medium stroke. But hands down, the thing that you should be aware of when it comes to these particular markers is the ink flow. It just comes out of that pen. It is absolutely fantastic to see a cheaper marker such as this, 24 pieces for $9.99, have that kind of superior ink flow. And the colors were vibrant, they were great. It was a water-based, so we didn't necessarily do a lot of blending because it would start tearing up the paper. But as I've mentioned in many other videos where we had water-based markers, if you use a multimedia or a watercolor-based paper, then you would be able to blend it a lot more. And I firmly believe that these would be great for that. But if you are a bullet journaler or just a regular journaler, these are going to be absolutely fantastic for you. I highly recommend you picking these up because they are absolutely worth it. Well, that wraps up today's episode. I hope that you got something from it. If for any reason you have a product that you would like me to review, please put it in the comments below and I will add it to the list. If you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I put out new content. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you at the next episode.